The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking.
That never gets old.
Do you think that you could repeat the question?
I could hear that every day for the next 30 years, and I would laugh every single time.
I was literally quoting it at somebody's house the other day.
Are you really?
Yep.
Love it. By the way, March 7th, we need to do a show in the can or do it early. I cannot be here March 7th. I know on the air is not the time.
I'm like, Leah, let's schedule this while we're doing the show. This
while I'm
seems
thinking,
like
if
a great
I
idea.
don't do it while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to forget, and then it'll be March 7th, and we won't have a show. All right, let's get this show on the road. We got a lot to. Usually we let the whole song play, but we're gonna jump ahead a little bit. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan. You're at the Paying Attention Podcast. Hi, atop Two Guys Smoke Shop at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. Boy, do we have a great show for you today. Now, sometimes we come in and we talk about restaurants, and sometimes we come in and we talk about politics, and sometimes we come in and we talk about like education stuff. And today, what we're going to do is we've got the new owner of Harrison's Roast Beef in North Andover is joining us with some of his friends. We'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But before we get to them, because they've got some great breaking news, and we're going to blow your minds with what's going to be happening at the Harrison's Roast Beef site. First, I want to thank our sponsors, McLennan Real Estate, Century 21. As we were going on the air, I got a $100 donation for the Greater Lawrence Tech Scholarship for our annual bash this year from Janet McLennan at McLennan Real Estate Century 21. So thank you, Janet. She's the queen of real estate. We love Janet and Sam and Matt. We kind of like Matt. We don't love Matt, but we kind of like him. He's okay.
I love Matt.
You love Matt? All right.
Yeah.
Then I guess we'll say we love Matt. The Zani Pesci Law Office, Pesce. How do we say that again? Pescherino.
You've confused me in this way. I'm pretty sure it's Zani Pesh.
Is it Zani Pesh?
Pretty sure.
It just doesn't roll the way Pesci rolls off the tongue. I don't know. But anyways, the Zani Pesci Law Office, that's a good idea, Tom. Make fun of your advertisers.
Yeah.
The Marsan and Son Construction, EIS Investigation and Gun Training, Borelli's Deli, where I'm going after this for my hot sausages. And if you really like hot sausages, they got hot sausages out. But what you tell the guy behind the counter, if you really like hot sausage, tell him you want the Tom Duggan Valley Patriot hot sausage. That's in the back. They make that special for me. But if you ask for it, they've always got some. So if you really like really hot sausage, like burn your mouth off hot sausage, that's what you ask for at Borelli's Deli. Power 28 right here in Salem, New Hampshire. Tomo and Shaken Seafood also right down the street in Salem, New Hampshire. Clear Path for Veterans, New England. I want to say real quick that our homeless veteran, Jeff, that we worked with for a year through Clear Path and through TMF is not only 120 days clean, he's got a job. He's in Boston. He showed up at TMF last night to help us serve the homeless because a year ago, right now, he was one of the homeless people that Mike Gorman and TMF were feeding at the bus stop on a Wednesday night. And this year he came with his girlfriend last night to help serve food to people who were a year ago where he was.
Wow.
And just seeing him there brought tears to my eyes. Like I saw him there and I thought, you know, Randy at Clear Path and Yanitza and Jason and everybody there and Michael at TMF, the collaboration that they put together to help this one guy was a monumental effort, but he's so grateful. And I love to see that. I love to see people who have been helped come back and help someone else. So, Jeff, thank you for coming last night.
Awesome.
Everybody at Clear Path, sponsor of the program, thank you for helping Jeff. And, of course, Michael Gorman, who is just an inspiration to everybody. Thank you for what you do. Yeah. The McDoug Mercurio Law Office in North Reading, AFC Urgent Care in Methuen in North Andover, Zaka and Lisa Williams donated $2,000 for our scholarships at our bash this year. And then yesterday I had lunch with Lisa, and she said, I want to match that and do a $2,000 sponsorship for your bash. Nice. So $4,000 out of AFC Urgent Care combined with Lisa Williams. So we want to thank them for that. And who did we forget? Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. We appreciate Dave Consoli, who's always here with us. He's kind of like my fill-in when I'm not here. And a free shout-out to our buddies at JG's Ice Cream, who don't pay for a sponsorship, but I love them so much that I love to give them a free shout-out. So before we get to my guests, I just want to do real quick where we are on the scholarships, because last week we didn't get an opportunity to do that. So here we are. Is it the top one or the bottom one, hon?
Bottom's last week. Nope.
Bottom's 2 weeks ago?
No, because unless we lost money. The bottom one is this week.
Oh, the bottom one. Okay.
And the top one
definitely didn't lose
week.
money.
No, I don't think we did.
So here's where we are. Our Lawrence High School Junior ROTC Eugene Smith John Rackham Memorial Scholarship. I don't think that name could be any longer, could it? Our scholarship recipient this year is ROTC Commander at Lawrence High School, Eileen Suarez. Her scholarship is at $6,155. The Dan Cody Memorial Scholarship winner this year is Bridget Gaffney from North Andover High School. Her scholarship is at $4,455. Our Methuen, now look at this. Our Methuen High School Studio 21 Podcast Cafe Scholarship was at the very bottom 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It was at the very bottom. And it is now in a very respectable third place with $4,085. And that young lady's name is Kalissa Alba. And let me tell you something about this scholarship real quick. We have an anonymous donor who's willing to match dollar for dollar up to $1,500 every donation that comes in on Kalissa's scholarship. So if you go on today and you donate $100 on Venmo, I will add another 100 to that total from our anonymous donor. And what's awesome about this is I know who the person is, and it would be wonderful to be able to put their picture online and thank them for what they're doing. But they don't want that. They want to be anonymous. They're not doing it to get their name in the paper. They're not doing it to get the cred.
Good cause.
They're doing it because they just want to help. I can't tell you how much I friggin' love that. I can't tell you how much I love it. It's like when people show up at TMF with $100 worth of food for the homeless and say, don't thank me on Facebook. I love that so much.
Nice.
Because so many people do things for the credit that when someone's purposely doing it and asking not to get credit, that makes me feel like everything that we're doing is worth it. The Edmund Lowe Scholarship, which is for a Salem High School student, in fact, several Salem High School students, the Lowe family pick the winners of that after our bash is over. They have their event. So they come to our event. We present them a check for what we raised for them. Then they invite us to their event, I think in April or May, and they ask us to help them present the check to those kids that are actually getting the scholarships. Nice. So it's a nice cooperation. It's a nice collaboration with the Edmund Lowe Scholarship and the Valley Patriots 20th anniversary bash this year. Dan Strange Memorial Scholarship for Lizette DeFeria. She is a junior ROTC cadet. She's already got early admission at Northern Essex Community College. Her scholarship it's a little bit low. It's $2,615. We want to get these bottom four up a little bit. Whittier Tech Scholarship. I want to say Karen, but it's not spelled that way. I think it's Karen Urena, and if I got that wrong, I'm sorry. Is at $2,600. Our Greater Lawrence Tech Scholarship winner, we just announced her yesterday, is Adriana Valerio, and I should have put that up there, but I will add it for next week. We just got it yesterday. $2,250, and then bringing up the rear, our Phil Glendice Special Needs Scholarship, which was at $6,000 last year. We're only at $1,925. We have 4 weeks from tomorrow is the bash. We have 4 weeks and a day to go. We've got to get that $28,000 number to 54. Yeah. I think we can do it. I'm going to be working the phones. I'm going to be sending out mailings. I'm going to be sending out a ton of emails. And in the meantime, I'm going to put together our March edition of the paper. So I'm going to be really busy. So I'm relying on you guys to please step up and help us out. All the information's on my Facebook page if you want to donate. If you want to sponsor the event, you can reach out to me. You can also use any of the methods online. But sponsoring the event gets you a free ad in the program book, and it allows us to pay for the expense. So we're paying $1,000 for the hall, right? We've got to pay for some of the awards. We have to pay for some things, and we don't want that to come out of scholarship money. One of the ways we're able to tell you that 100% of what you give to the scholarships goes to the kid is because we have sponsors that help us pay our expenses for the event. So if you'd like to sponsor, please reach out to me. All the methods are online on my Valley Patriot Facebook page. All right. So we've eaten up the whole show. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you coming. Yep. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. So to my left is the guy that I call the king of food, because if you follow his Facebook page for the last 5 years or so, it is the yummiest pictures on the face of the earth. You almost want to eat the pictures. They're so good. And Dean Chongris is kind of a food expert, and he has some announcements to make today. We're going to break some news today, but he has purchased Harrison's roast beef in North Andover. Now, I don't know if you remember the show that I did about 2 years ago about how horrible Harrison's had become.
Yeah.
Dean, I don't know if you heard the show, but Dean bought it, and he's turning it around, and he's going to do some great things with it. So rather than me tell you what he's going to say and then having him say it, we'll just have Dean introduce himself and the people that he brought with him and tell you guys what's going to happen at the Harrison site, which is now going to be called Patrick's Eatery.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
No more Harrison.
No more Harrison.
No more. Well,
Harrison.
Harrisons will always be remembered there.
Yeah.
And we want to bring it back to the original Harrisons. So our plan is, well, for starters, we've got Amanda.
Hello.
20 plus years working at Harrison's. Mm-hmm. We've got Jim.
Jim's Kebab.
From Jim's Kebab.
Yeah, we want to talk a lot about that.
Yes, who's also going to come in and work with us. And who's here but not on the camera is Emmett Mabin, who's another 25-year veteran at Harrison's. And
we'll bring him up at some point. We'll swap him.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, as most of you know, Harrison's actually started at Riley's.
Right.
Riley's Roast Beef.
I used to work next door at Baker's Dozen.
Yeah.
So I remember going there as a kid with my father,
right,
getting roast beefs. My family was from Peabody. My grandfather was like the biggest roast beefer I've ever met in my life. So when I was 6 years old, I was getting junior roast beefs. They were $1.75
right
junior back then. We always enjoyed Riley's. We always enjoyed Harrison's. And when I had the opportunity to purchase the place, I went right for it.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
And what we want to do is we're going to add a lot more to it. 40 years ago, when Dave opened up Harrison's, the closest place to get a roast beef was Peabody. I mean, when they call it the North Shore beef, it was hardcore planted. If you left Danvers, Lynn, Salem, nobody even knew what they were.
Right.
Or nobody could even find them. And then they argue that Kelly's invented it, but I mean, that's as gray as who invented the chicken barb in the Merrimack Valley.
Well, hell, I'm going to be 57 this week, and I was probably 8 or 9 the first time my dad brought me in a cruiser to Riley's Roast Beef at South Lawrence. So I'm pretty sure Kelly's didn't invent it.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but Dave was a Bill and Bob's guy.
Yeah.
And when he left Bill and Bob's, he had the opportunity to take over the Riley's in Lawrence, which was struggling at the time.
Yeah.
And he got that Riley's booming.
Yeah.
Booming. He brought the roast beef to the Merrimack Valley. So we kind of refer to Dave as the OG. He was the original beef gangster.
Right.
There was nobody who brought it here before he did.
So when I was in high school, I used to work at Showcase Cinema. So I would go to work, and my friends would all go to the movies, and I'd be like, I got to work, I can't go to the movies. But I would get out of work when the movies got out. So they would be leaving, and I'd be getting out of work, and we'd all go over to Riley's, and we'd sit in the parking lot. We'd all order like one small roast beef, and then we'd all just hang around all night. So it was like literally the place in South Lawrence where
it was
there was the group that hung out at Denny's, and there was the group that hung out at Riley's, and my group hung out at Riley's.
Yep.
That's some real history.
Yeah.
There.
And the food, one of the things that I always complained about with Harrison's was the French fries were never salted. They were never pre-salted.
Oh.
So if you tried to add salt to it, the salt didn't stick because there was no pre-salt to hold it.
Exactly.
And so I would always ask the guys, like, hey, can you pre-salt mine? And they'd yell at me, no, we don't do that here. Okay, fine. So I'm hoping that, I know that you've told me off the air that you're going to keep the Harrison's
French
recipe.
fries.
The crinkle cut fries
For the roast beef, I mean.
and the roast beef. Correct.
But can you pre-salt the fries? Because I used to have to go to Riley. I used to have to go to Harrison's to get my beef. They'd go to McDonald's for my fries. And I hated doing that. So if I could just not have to do that, I'd be happy.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We'll
compromise. We'll compromise.
All right, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had as big a following and an outpouring on Harrison's French fries.
Yeah.
As we did the roast beef.
They were good. There was just no salt on them.
The crinkle cut fries.
And they were great because they were crunchy, but they weren't so crunchy that like they hurt your teeth, right?
Yeah. Right.
So some places you go, they're really crunchy. You think they're good when you eat the first one. By the time you're on your third one, your gums hurt, your teeth hurt. You're like, this is way too much. Yeah. So Harrison's had great fries. They just never put enough salt on it. And so I'd have to pour all kinds of salt, but it wouldn't stick to it because there was nothing to hold it.
Cooled off.
Right, yeah, right.
It's got to be done when it comes out of the fryer right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's still some
So
oil.
Jim, let's talk to Jim for a second. So another place that I hung out as a Ute when I was a kid was Monier's. I spent a lot of time with your brother, a lot of time with him. I watched him come across the counter and clobber people.
I've seen that myself.
I've seen, and he was a big guy. Like, you didn't realize behind the counter how big he was. But the food there was so incredible that when he passed, we all were hoping that the family would be able to keep it and do what he did. But it just didn't seem to work out. We were all kind of heartbroken.
As a matter of fact, my sister still have a restaurant in Hampton.
Tell her I said hello.
Well, Martha, I will. And I'm excited. I retired about a year ago. I sold my place. You know, all Jim's Kebab started down the beach. And what's nice, you grow with the people. Like now you're serving the kids. Now you're serving the grandkids, and the year goes on. And I gotta say, I had a good following. We opened the bar closes till the COVID came, and then all the rules and laws were changed. You had to be, we couldn't do that anymore and stuff. But I'm excited for Dean. Dean's been working hard. I've been following him up, how much work he brought. You will not believe how much work he's done.
Oh, I believe it. He's a workhorse. I believe it.
He's doing a great job, and I'm willing to help him out, and I will.
And when you say help him out, what you mean is...
we're going to work together.
Yeah.
We're going to work together. I'm going to bring my own recipe that people love, something like tahini, hummus tahini, the steak cheese salad, famous everybody like...
The kibbe?
The kibbe.
Wait, if you've got Monier's kibbe recipe, I'm gonna bring my laptop and just move my office into...
I got to correct you for a
It's
second.
the family secret.
Yeah, Monier has his recipe.
Oh, I stand corrected.
We worked together. I was younger than Monier.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to go to a food show, and I say to Monier, I'm going to bring some chicken wings. You say, no. So I go to Shaheen Brothers food show, and I bring the first box, and next thing you know, my brother ate the whole box just about and selling any. And then next thing you know, it was a big hit on the menu.
Yeah.
So I was younger, I helped him out, but of course, I got married, I had my own family, I had to go on my own.
Right.
But Monier worked hard, and he played hard, and he worked hard.
And one of the best things about Monier's was it was open till 3 a.m. on a Friday night.
Them days, yeah.
So the bars would get out at 1, and all the drunks would either get into an accident, get pulled over, or go home and go to bed. But those people who had just kind of left and were having a good time but were hungry because they were in a club all night.
Absolutely.
Literally, the line was out the door and down the street. So at 2 a.m, it was one of those places where, like, South Broadway was like downtown New York.
We used to rock. We used to rock. We did
and the shawarma was really good.
Exactly. That's what we're going to bring back. We're going to bring back, I promise you.
So Harrison's roast beef merges basically with Monier's for this new Patrick's that's coming. And how does Amanda fit into all this? Because I'm already excited. I can't even imagine what more you guys have planned for this.
I'll bring a little bit of the touch of the old Harrisons. I was there for over 21 years.
Wow.
Gonna hopefully bring the place back to what it should be in.
So same barbecue recipe. On the beef, same beef recipe, original recipe.
Back to the original.
Right? And then the original Monier's recipes. Right. And I'll tell you, if I owned an eatery anywhere on 125, I'd be nervous about you guys. Just stealing. I would. I'd be nervous that you guys are stealing all my business.
By the way, I feel if something you would not eat yourself, personally, I would not serve.
Right.
Yep.
I had a technique over these 40 years to use the best ingredient and the high quality. And if something you will not eat yourself, don't serve it.
Right.
And it succeeded. Nice fresh Syrian bread. We got the steak cheese salad, the kibbe, the tahini. We're going to bring some grape leaves. We're going to help.
Yep.
That place going to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
We wanted to, as we call it, the North Shore Eatery. I just want to be clear. The Merrimack Valley is still considered part of the North Shore.
Yeah, I could never figure that out. Like, where does that line get drawn?
Yeah, but it's not even our location. It's our menu. So we're looking at the different local favorites original favorites and ethnic favorites from north of Boston.
Right.
And we're trying to incorporate a component of that. So there's nothing more North Shore than that roast beef sandwich.
Right.
You know, if you
I
follow
agree with that.
If you follow the North Shore Beefs on Facebook,
Yep.
I mean, there's a 36,000 member cult following.
Right.
And they're a crazy group, but they're awesome.
Right.
You know, and the sandwich means that much to these people.
Right.
That they follow it that hard. Well, we looked at it locally and we said, you know what? If we put a meatball and Italian sub out there, we're selling what everybody else sells.
Right.
Granted, in the old days, Harrison's was the only roast beef place after Peabody. But, you know, nowadays, there's Bella's, there's Nicky's, there's a lot of places, and they're good.
Right.
You know, and they're good, and we're not going to carry that volume like Harrison's did when they were the only roast beef place.
Right.
So when I looked at it, I said, well, we have to diversify.
Sure.
We need to add some other things. But Harrison's was so locally iconic, that north of Boston
Absolutely.
roast beef sandwich. So we looked at it and said, you know what? We're going to bring in what's iconic from Lawrence? The chicken barb.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
The old bungalow. Does
Yeah,
anybody
there
remember
you
the old
go.
bungalow?
Yeah.
We call our chicken barb the Tally Ho.
Okay.
After
There you go.
After the old
Tally
the
Ho.
old Tally Ho,
Yeah.
the Margraf family.
Yep.
We've got Jim's Food, which is also as long as I can remember, Monier's was there,
Right.
and Bishop's and Jim's Kebab, and I always grew up eating and enjoying that food. But
Yep.
to me, that food was a part of Lawrence or a part of the Merrimack Valley.
It's a landmark.
It's a landmark. It's a landmark menu.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like a guest-restaurant. So Jim will be our guest cook.
We're
He'll-
going to bring some good falafel, vegetarian option, beef shawarma, chicken shawarma, steak cheese salad. I mean, that's all part of the wrap, all on the wrap, on the pita bread, steak cheese salad. What do you have? It's just a plain steak and cheese, let's say.
Right.
You know, whatever you like, you know.
You know, it's amazing. I lived in Alabama for a year, and I
Yeah.
lived in Florida for a year. And when one of the things that I was amazed at living down south is the lack of diversity in food. Like there was no place to get Lebanese food.
All
there
franchise.
Was,
all the franchise.
Right. It was
That's all you
McDonald's,
had.
Burger King,
That's
and
it.
Domino's,
That's it.
right?
That's it.
And there was no place to get, like there was a Chinese food place that was like 3 towns away, right? But other than that, there was no place to get Italian food. There was no place to get Lebanese food. There was no place to get, you know, all these different
good, healthy ethnic food.
Yes,
you know?
and then so when I came back, the first thing I wanted to do was go to Monier's, right, and then go to Tripoli's in North Lawrence
That's an
and have some of the
iconic,
Tripoli's
absolutely.
pizza, and then I went to Peter Messina's Italian kitchen, right, for the Italian food, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing for 2 straight years. You don't realize how devoid the rest of the country is of the diversity of food right here in the Merrimack Valley until you leave the Merrimack Valley for a significant period of time. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about what you guys are doing is when Monier's closed, it was like an institution in the city had closed. When Harrison started going downhill, we all felt that. We all felt it, right? And so now you're bringing everything back together, and it's a resurgence, a rebirth, really. And you're adding so many neat components to it that it really should bring in a diverse group of customers that will also, you know, let's face it, you guys succeed, the Merrimack Valley succeeds.
Everybody
North Andover succeeds, 125 succeeds.
Absolutely.
I'm sure people are going to go there and they're going to be, you know, shopping and doing other things on 114 and 125 with you guys.
You know, our goal is there's something for everyone there.
Right.
So a family can come in. There's something for mom, something for dad, something for the kids.
Now, are you keeping seating that people can eat there?
Yeah, it's the same as it was. You'll order at the counter and go back to your seat.
Okay, all right.
On that, you know, but what'll change is our menu. Obviously, still have the beefs, our chicken barbs,
pizza rolls,
all the Harrison specialties, and we're calling that Dave's original menu.
Okay,
after Dave McMahon, the original owner.
Gonna be good selection of food to take home too.
We have Jim 2 days a week. So 2 days a week, you'll be able to come in. So the people that follow Jim, they can come in on his 2 days and they can order off his menu and they can say hello to him. And it's an open kitchen still.
Oh, good.
So when you come in to order, you're looking at a Jim Kebab in its natural environment.
By the way, that was always one of the things that I loved about Harrison's is you stand there and you see them making the food.
Absolutely.
Whereas you go to other places, sometimes you wonder what they're doing back there, right? Because who knows what's going to happen to your food? And I've worked in a lot of food service places. My first job was at Jilly's in South Lawrence on Mass Ave, and I remember like people would complain about the food once in a while. They'd say it wasn't well cooked well, and it would come back, and I would see some horrifying things happen to that food before it went back out. So being someone who actually like worked in the food industry, a lot of times you go to a place and you wonder what's going on back there. Every time you walked into Harrison's, you watched them make your food, and you never had to worry about that.
You get the same customer, repeat customer. I mean, if a customer comes in and you give him something he's not going to like or enjoy, he's going to say thank you. He's going to pay you. Is he going to come back?
Yep.
Exactly. So you always have that repeat customer. That's a sign of satisfaction.
Oh, absolutely.
I give you something you enjoy, you're going to say, wow, that was good.
Right.
You're going to say, wow, that was good. You enjoyed it. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to think about it.
You're not going to buy it again.
You're not going to buy it.
What about
again.
deliveries? We've got all this DoorDash stuff
Oh,
nowadays.
you got all the option. You got all the option.
We're going to get the place up and running first, and then we're going to start to integrate the delivery services. Right. And we redid everything. Everything. There isn't a nail in that building that hasn't been changed.
Okay.
So we've got new bathrooms, a new dining room, most importantly, a brand new kitchen. From one side to the other, and it's operating room clean.
Nice. Nice big deli.
You'll be very
it's
happy.
spotless.
Right in front.
And you can see it. So you can see where your food's being cooked, and you can see that nice new floor. You can see all those new pieces of equipment. Yeah. The stainless steel actually blinds you when you come in.
I used to love driving down 125, and I didn't even realize I was hungry till I smelled Harrison's.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, God damn it, now I got to pull it and I got to wait in line for Harrison's because now that I've smelled it, now my brain wants it so bad. And when do you plan an opening? When are you guys going to be?
Yeah, that's the big.
Because I want to be there. I want to be there for that.
That's the big question. That's the big push.
We don't know.
Come on, Dean.
We're putting the last of the kitchen and the bathrooms together right now.
Yep.
Our dining room's at about 90%. Our prep kitchen's at about 95%. We've got a little bit of bureaucratic work to do because once we get everything together, we got a series of inspections. And our permits are mostly in place. So we're probably looking the end of March or the beginning of April, but we'll make sure everybody knows when that day is.
Okay.
And then we look forward to seeing everybody walk back in.
Absolutely. Everybody's excited.
I want to be there for that day because it's going to be historic, right? Oh, yeah. And I'm an old man. I'm not going to be around much longer. So I want to at least experience something that I think is going to be the rebirth of that area in the Merrimack Valley. Let's face it, 125 is struggled.
It's a beautiful
and it's a great place for businesses, but since COVID, it has struggled.
Yeah.
And so we like to go to, like I used to go to Joe Fish all the time. Then after COVID, the deep sea scallops became baby scallops. The portions got smaller. The prices got so you don't go as much. And I love the Loft. They're actually now having a resurgence. They've changed their menu a little bit.
Oh, okay.
They're starting to come back now, so we're going back there more now.
It's tough.
So we're starting to see it come back a little bit on 125, but I think you guys could be the spark that actually helps all of those businesses because it just brings people to that area.
We're looking forward
to
that. We're looking forward.
So we're hoping to get the whole clientele back.
Yeah.
And then some.
So Amanda, I know that you worked with Harrison's before. Mm-hmm. How are you fitting into all of this? Are you going to be like the frontline manager that's going to have to handle all the disasters?
Yeah, I'll be dealing with everybody who's acting up and keep it all together. So you're
going to be like Monique, come across the counter and just clobber people.
Might have to. I've been working out, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm looking at all those tattoos going. I wouldn't mess with her. That's
there you go.
They're friendly.
Does Emmett want to come in and come up and jump in on this? You want to talk about his role in all this?
Get up here.
He does. Yeah. It's up to him if he wants to.
I'll mention
Everybody loves Emmett. He's got a smile and a half that we love.
Emmett goes all the way back to 25 years back there.
Okay.
The experience you've had for years.
Yes. And when I took over, Emmett was one of the first people I said, you make sure you stay with us.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He's a staple. Him and Amanda are part of the fabric there.
Yeah.
But the thing I like most about them is they go back so far. They represent Dave's work and the original Harrisons. Right. That's all I hear about is, the original, the 80s, the 90s.
So I didn't know Dave well, but we started the Valley Patriot in 2004.
Yeah.
We went to every place we could and asked them if they'd carry the Valley Patriot. And I remember walking in, and he said, hey, Duggan, I heard you started a newspaper. I said, yeah, I brought them. Can I leave them here? Put them on the counter. He said, I listen to your show, and if you're doing a newspaper, what you're doing on radio, I want that newspaper here.
There you go.
So we were there for almost forever until about maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And then the Sun just said, we don't want any more newspapers here.
Yeah.
And all the newspaper, well, although he kept the Eagle Tribune, which really, that always felt bad. Like, that always was like.
Well, the Patriots going to be back there.
Well,
There you go.
that's the best breaking news that you can have at all. On
If
the
it
Valley
makes you
TV
feel any better,
podcast.
though, they did pull out the Eagle Tribune.
good.
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 The valley, the Minga Valley.
Oh, yeah. Right.
There's only one.
Listen, there's not many newspapers left. Rumble stopped publishing. They've gone all digital.
know.
Methuen Loop Weekly has stopped publishing. They went out of business.
I know.
The North
All
End
the
of a
papers
Citizen,
taking a hit.
it's 8 pages and it's all obituary.
Yeah.
So
Big
they're
hit.
publishing,
Big
but there's
hit.
nothing really there. So we're really kind of like the last ones to put the lights out, like you guys in your
Yep.
industry. Like we're one of the last newspapers left other than the Daily Eagle Tribune, which isn't even daily.
A lot of old timers still want to like to read.
Right.
And
You
pick
know,
up
they're
the
not
paper.
phone friendly.
Right.
You know, all that
I still like the
technology.
newspaper, so-
Yeah. Well, that changed. It took a big.
And we're getting ready to
big
celebrate
turn.
our 20th anniversary. So why don't you guys let me do this? We have our annual charity bash every year that we raise money for scholarships and we honor cops and firefighters and veterans. Let me give you guys some free tickets. And it's March 22nd. If you're open, close for the night.
There you
Come
go.
on me. Come and enjoy the night with us. See what we do. Salvatore's is catering it. So you get a nice free dinner and, just kind of see what we do and interact with all of the advertisers and the drivers and the writers and
Great
all the people that
network.
are, you know what I mean? And we want you guys to be part of what we do and we want you there. And I have no problem giving you guys 4 free tickets. If you want to bring more people, let me know.
You got my support.
I'd love to have you. Listen, I'm honored just to be sitting here with you, my friend.
Thank you.
I loved your brother so much. There were days when I would go in the afternoon at like 2 in the afternoon with my laptop. By the way, I had to convince him to get Wi-Fi. At the beginning, he
Oh, that was my brother.
he did not want Wi-Fi.
No, he
And I
didn't.
finally got
No.
him to do it, and I brought my laptop in, and I would actually do work on the paper in Moniz in the back. And he would come and he would sit with me when it was quiet. And we would just sit and talk about old school Lebanon
even old-
and what it was
old
like
school,
before the war and
absolutely.
the bombings. And, he had, you guys still have family back there because he'd go back once in a while.
Yes, we have some family, but the immediate family.
So when he passed, it was a big blow. Like,
10
he
years
wasn't like
ago.
a family friend that came over for dinner, but he was someone that we went to see when
Everybody
we had
knew.
dinner.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
Moniz.
Yeah. And your sister too. When he passed, she tried to make a go of it, and we went a
Yeah,
lot.
my
but
sister,
it
she's
just
still
never-
she's retired, Teresa.
Yeah.
And my sister Martha, she still have a place in Hampton Fall,
Oh, great.
and her son is running it.
Yep.
And food is in our family.
It's in your
all
blood.
it's in the blood.
Yeah.
My mother and all.
Well, if you're
my,
Lebanese, it's hard not to have food in your blood.
Exactly. You gotta love to eat,
Right.
and enjoy good food, good ethnic food, and everybody's finding out that the Middle Eastern food is very healthy.
Oh, it's
very
tremendous.
natural.
Yeah.
It's not fried. It's not salty. How can you not like all that good stuff?
Hummus. I mean,
Hummus
no one
is-
knew what hummus was
Right.
30 years ago.
What's it?
Hummus is in every supermarket,
Chickpea-
gas
right.
station,
Exactly, now.
everywhere now.
Yep. Oh, I love hummus, and
Yep.
it's hard to find a place that does really good hummus.
I make it
Well,
from
we got one
fresh
for you.
from scratch.
Well,
We got one
Moniz
for
was
you.
always good.
Well,
and
I got
after
the same
Moniz,
recipe.
After Moniz, the next place that I found that was even close was Suctain on
Yeah,
Merrimack
they
Street
did a good
150.
job. I mean,
Mimi had a
and-
great hummus.
Yeah.
And it almost reminded me of your brothers. And then she went out of business. And so we went looking around
a tough
for
business,
really good hummus.
food.
And now where we go is we go to Sevmar for our hummus. right? And they're in
she's doing a
Salem.
good job,
So we'll
too.
go there for fine dining.
And-
but
and
if we
roast
want to
beef.
take out or we
Yeah,
want to
the
just kind
roast
of
beef
have a
on
quick
top
look
of
at, we're going to come to Patrick's.
Well, you'll be able
Absolutely.
to get Jim's hummus to go at any time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yep.
make sure that's
Amongst
in
some
the
of his other
deli.
specialties.
So even when you're not there, those 2 weeks, 2 days
Exactly.
you're not there.
Absolutely.
we can
There's
still
no
get the
reason
hummus.
not to because they could be prepared ahead of time.
Right.
They will be served like we always do with a piece of Syrian bread, a little
Right.
red onion.
Yep.
We garnish it with the olive oil, a little pasta, a little tomato. We give it the real touch.
I like
the
a
way
lot
it's
of
supposed to be.
chopped tomatoes on the top. I want tomato in every bite.
That's always people request. Hey, I want extra tomato. I want no tomato. Whatever it takes. Whatever
Sure.
it takes to your taste. We're willing to.
So
please
what? By the way,
the
what made you want?
customer.
We will get a couple minutes. What made you want to do this? Like, a lot of people like drive by places and go, "Hey, we should do this and we should buy
my
that."
best customer for years,
Yes.
and we talked for years.
Years
So
about
I
it.
decided to retire, and next thing you know,
I
He
called
got,
Jim up. I said, "Hey, if you want to come out of retirement, I got a griddle.
That's awesome.
We're ready for you."
absolutely.
And you must be excited too, Amanda.
I'm so excited.
Because you found out somebody's buying the place where you work.
This is,
and you're going, oh crap! Now I got to find a job.
And
you
we're all
don't.
going to have a job.
They're bringing you and Emmett, and they're keeping you guys in, and you know,
was a
having you be
blessing.
the part of the
It's a
staple of
blessing.
what it is.
Her and Emmett have a lifelong investment there.
Right.
I mean, they got over 20 years. I don't know people that can hold a job for 20 weeks.
Does he have a retirement plan? Did you ask him about the retirement plan?
Yeah, the retirement plan is I leave and they take it over.
Timeshare.
We're going to give him the boot in a couple of years.
Yeah, right. Well, you got to be careful. That does happen. Right?
I'm ready.
No.
Somebody comes in, and then
I'm ready for it.
There's a
No.
takeover. So, is there anything? We got about a minute and a half left. Is there anything else you want to impart on our viewers, and it's going to be our readers, because we're going to transcribe
Yes,
some of this, put it in the paper for March for our 20th anniversary. So, boy, you hit us at the right time, because our anniversary edition is more widely read than any other for the year. So, is there anything else you want to?
We just want to get that Dave's original roast beef back.
Yep.
We want to get a hot dog back there, like the old Lawtons. We've tracked down the old Essam's hot dogs.
Oh, really? The old Lawtons?
Just for that reason.
Now, I'm not a hot dog guy, but I loved Lawton's hot dogs.
We want to get back that chicken barb. And then with Jim brings
cheese
in
salad, you know.
his old recipes. We just want to get what everybody's used to eating. It's almost the equivalent of street food.
Right.
But it's going to be in a brick and mortar location.
You know,
That's great.
Customer always comes in and say, I just came out of like California or Florida. I'm dying for your steak cheese salad. That
Right.
tells
Yeah.
them, I just got off the plane. We just came from the airport, and I'm dying for your steak cheese
Right.
salad. That's a good feeling. That means they've been around. They've tried other food. When they're back in this area, they know what they're going after.
Food around the rest of the country sucks. I can tell you that.
Don't ever order an Italian sub in Wyoming.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
better be good.
so the new place is going to be called Patrick's Eatery. It's the old Harrison's roast beef in North Andover on Route 125, and they're gonna be integrating more Nears. They're going to be integrating the chicken barbs, and it's really going to be like what yesteryear of Lawrence was. Only now it's going to be where Harrison's was. So a lot of wases, but you guys are now the future of what the Valley's food choices used to be.
Absolutely.
And I'm very excited about this. I really
We're
am.
all excited. We're all excited. We're looking forward
Looking
for
forward
it.
to
And
seeing
we're
all the
looking
old
forward
faces.
to
Yeah.
we're looking forward to serving you.
Well, listen,
Can't wait.
come to our bash. I'm really excited to have you guys there. We'll
right.
definitely recognize you if you come. Chrissy, thank you so much for being a fine producer today. And, of course, our executive producer, Murphy, who has fallen asleep over there on the couch. We want to thank him. And we want to thank our sponsors. We can roll up, Mel. We want to thank our sponsors. A free shout-out to JG's Ice Cream. And we will have a story about what the state is trying to do to JG's Ice Cream on Route 110 in Methuen. Boy, the politicians have screwed these guys so badly with this bike lane crap that they're putting together on 110.
Oh, my God.
They're going to be taking part of it. They're going to be putting up these guardrails.
my God.
So you can't pull into JG's. How are you going to get your ice cream, right? So they don't care about the businesses, but we got the state reps on it, and we're going to have them on the show in the next couple of weeks to talk about that. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, AFC Urgent Care, the Doug Mercurio Law Office in North Reading, Clear Path for Veterans New England, which, by the way, has an office now in the Packard building on Packard, what used to be Packard Street. Now it's, crap, I can't remember, in South Lawrence. Tomo and Shaken Seafood, Borelli's Deli, Par 28, EIS Investigation and Gun Trading, Marcian and Son Construction, the Zany Pesci Law Office, and Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. Sounds like Melvin Taylor says you got to go home. Did he say that? So go home already.
We'll see you soon.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.